Hi everyone, so we got our final patch notes for Season 28 and the season start date announcement, which is the 24th of February. So in 1 week from now on Friday, the typical time. And here I'm going to walk you through the updates of what changed since PTR. If you haven't seen the patch notes at all yet, or if you haven't followed anything for Season 28 yet, first of all, I do have a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of guides, build guides, leveling guides, whatever. So stay tuned for those. But I also recommend you to give the patch notes a careful read of your own if you haven't done so yet. I'm not going to go into all the details. So let's get started. First of all, we have the new portrait and a pet. They actually look really cool. I like them. So we have this little like flying dragon here with ethereal wings or something. And we also have this like primeval amalgam portrait. I really like both of these actually. So that's pretty awesome. You're going to get this from the season journey. And I've also changed a few things here on the altar. So first of all, you need to know the conduit pylons are gone. So no more Z Necro GR150 solo in 2 minutes. So that is dead. Instead, they changed it so that there's only one pylon effect, which is the power pylon. In case you're curious what this means, this is literally the name of the buff. It's called Dimensional Power. So this is just a regular power pylon plus 250% multiplicative damage. And it will last for 16 seconds. So exactly 1 COE cycle in most cases, or 2 COE cycles for Necros. And they didn't change the Leech Blood Flask. So Necros are going to be ridiculous with certain builds that have curses. You're going to have insane like synergy with the season theme. But in general, the power level is very high. And as a buff to compensate this removal of the shrines, or the pylons rather, they have actually buffed the season theme even more. So here's a 20% and here's a 30% damage instead of 10 and 15. Those numbers are multiplicative and actually lead to another flat like 2 GR tier buff compared to what we had before in the PTR. This here is actually just a tooltip change, but yeah, the auto pickup globes is generally fine, nothing really to worry about, but you have to know that this is not exactly like picking the entire map now. Next up, there's one notable change in the unlocking the seals. So at step 19, previously you had to sacrifice the never-ending questions. This is this elusive page you find from set dungeons. I've been grinding this for like 2 hours. I didn't get any, so that was awful. And a lot of other people had the same issue. And they have changed it to 4 Tome of Set Dungeon pages. So the way that works is you go to Leoric's Manor with a full set equipped. There's a thing you can click and it drops one of these pages. And then you collect them and you sacrifice them. So you don't actually have to enter the set dungeon. I can also show this in a little run in a moment. And then we have these weird numbers here. So in case you're curious what this means, this is related to those set dungeon pages. These are the numbers. So this doesn't have any significance for the patch itself. And let's jump into the juicy parts here. So first of all, God Demon Hunter. This one got a really juicy buff here. So we went from 15,000% damage to 27,500. This is ridiculous. So this is a roughly plus 4 GR tier buff, which makes it a really good solo speed farming option. It makes it most likely a competitive 4-man speed meta, competing with rats, for example, or potentially you can even combine a rat with a god now. So it should be that close. So this is going to be like the spin to win build of the season now. Yeah, personally, I was advocating for a change to God, like a buff, but I was hoping for something like more of a momentum change or maybe extra pierces or so that also maybe gives it back a little bit of pushing potential. Pushing wise, it's still not going to be great, but farming really top tier. So God Demon Hunter is going to be roughly on the level of like Unhot Essence and Marauders, and those are all maybe behind Natalia, but that remains to be seen. Speaking of Natalia, there is a big rework here, and it's not a spin to win build anymore, which is why this happened, but I'm going to go into that in a second. First, I want to talk about the Witch Doctor. We actually have a Witch Doctor change here, which is pretty cool, so that's also something I was suggesting. So buffing the Money 2 rune for Spirit Barrage would be the play, and this is actually what happened. So instead of 6,000% weapon damage, this does 14,000% weapon damage now, which is more than twice. Which is definitely going to be noticeable. It's not going to make Mundunugu suddenly like the absolute incredible blaster build, but it is usually comfortable in at least A tier or so. It's fairly good in 4-man, And it's also like a really nice, smooth T16 build. And this is really like what witch doctors need. They need like some farming builds. They have decent pushing builds. They have even some group viability with spiders, for example, in this season. So there's definitely a bit of stuff for witch doctors. But with Spirit Barrage, you have this issue. You have no single target damage. Farming with this beyond a certain tier is awful because you kill everything, but you cannot finish the boss. And even in a solo push, usually on the high end, you end up with like, 6-minute boss fights or longer than that. So buffing the single target here is definitely welcome. And Mundunugo is definitely a build that can profit from having a 2 minutes shorter or 3 minutes shorter boss fight by going up higher tiers and having more time in the rift to spend. So you're definitely going to see like a bit of a bump up there. And it's going to feel a lot better. So I'm very happy for this change. In my opinion, this could have been buffed even further, but I think it's going to be okay. They didn't touch any of the other sets here, so Typhoon is the same, Frenzy is the same. I think this is going to be okay. So those are decent, strong sets. I already made a Frenzy Barb guide, for example. I'm going to cover the others as well, of course. And let's go into Natalia. So what happened here is spin to win is gone because, well, we have the gold demon buff here. So everyone who wants to spin to win, you go there. And here we have a true trap build. I'm really excited to try this out. The patch is not live yet, so no one has actually tried it. We have to wait until Tuesday evening to try it out. But the way this is going to work is it's going to be like a manual play style, a bit similar to what I also described, what I would expect this to be in my feedback video from the PTR. So you put the traps, you explode them. There's even caltrops involved now, which give you like 100% extra damage. And they also pull in enemies. And we'll see how well this pulling will work. But I expect it's going to be pretty awesome. You have more damage reduction than before. And you have a massively higher stacking bonus on the 6-piece here as well. So while you're going to cast fewer spike traps than before, the damage of each spike trap is significantly higher. And you can still put out quite a lot of spike traps. So I've been doing some math on this, and I expect that the overall DPS compared to the PTR is probably something like ×2, ×3 or so. And now you get area damage on top of this. And you also pull in enemies. So I believe that this is going to be absolutely blasting. So this is going to be like an easy new S tier build. I imagine if this works still similar to what it was before, without any other like hidden mechanical changes, which I do not expect. So there's going to be like lightning, spike traps. I actually made a planner here. We have like all the planners already. Obviously this will need some tweaking, but you can kind of see the setups here of what I have cooked up earlier on stream. So that was kind of interesting. And I imagine that this is going to blow away Marauders, which is already like kind of scratching S tier. And it's probably going to be like around the level of like Meteor and Nova and this kind of things. So this is like absolute Demon Hunter season here for sure with this. But we have to wait until Tuesday to actually try it out. So make sure to tune in. I'm going to try it live on stream as soon as the patch is up. And then I'm probably also going to have the Maxwell guide ready soon and the video guide, etc. Speaking of Maxwell, you can expect to have all the updates also like maybe during this weekend or early next week or so. And that's also all that you need to know for what happened from PTR to now. So I think this patch is looking amazing. Everyone is going to feel so powerful. You're going to notice that as well. If you have never done a GR 150, then now is the time. This is a crazy season. And I'm going to have some guides for you that will also help you if you don't even know where to get started on that end. So don't worry. And as I mentioned, I'm going to have a lot of other stuff coming. In the next days, there's going to be a lot of YouTube content. Let me know what you think about the patch, what you think about those updates here, what you're hyped for. And obviously, if there is something in particular that you want me to cover, then just ask away in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you guys next time.